Live from somewhere on the internet, it's the 2020 Indian Creek Award Show. Today we celebrate the outstanding students and athletes, artists and actors, scientists and problem solvers that epitomize Greek pride. There are over 30 categories to be awarded, and senior superlatives highlighting every graduating senior. This will be an event for the ages, with appearances by Tyler Larkin, Hillary Briles, Rachel Church, and Paula Sweaterledge, Jill and Brad Woodward, Tanya Montgomery, Becca Derry, and Ashley Federoff, Glenn Clackring and Andrew Colley, Esther Uribe and Ginny Chambers, Stephen Roth, and Amy Rink, with a special guest appearance by Gerard Connolly. And your host for the evening, Matt McCormick. Now to get us started with the Pledge of Allegiance, please welcome SGA President Sean Lonergan.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sean. My name is Matt McCormick, and I'm the upper school head here at Indian Creek, and it is my honor to welcome you to the 2020 Indian Creek Upper School Virtual Awards Ceremony. Let's also take a moment to applaud the greatest, most resilient senior class in the nation, Indian Creek's class of 2020. Okay, settle down. When people ask what Indian Creek is all about, I often think of this award ceremony: sports, arts, athletics, and the most important part of the school, the students, are celebrated and recognized. Speaking of recognition, let's get right to it. We will start with the Senator Chris Van Hollen Public Service Award. This award is presented one student in each high school in Maryland on behalf of the Senator in order to honor students who have gone above and beyond in their service to the community. This year's recipient for Indian Creek is Emma Bach. Emma has been recognized as a leader both in school and in her own community, earning well over 600 hours of service hours in her high school career. Emma's service work has been consistently focused on working with children and young adults. From 9th through 11th grade, Emma assisted with or taught a Saturday morning dance class and was a counselor at a summer dance program for preschoolers. She's also accrued more than 250 hours of service with Anne Arundel Medical Center as a student volunteer. She does such a good job relating to kids that she was invited to be part of a special field trip day focused on health and hygiene for preschoolers. And it was a real treat for our own pre-K students to see one of the big kids they know as one of the instructors that day. Healthcare and students were also on Emma's mind as a student trainer at Indian Creek. She worked throughout the winter after school under the supervision of our athletic trainer to ensure the safety and care of our own student athletes. What makes Emma an especially valuable volunteer is that she happily does anything that needs to be done, and she makes herself indispensable in that process. Emma arrived at Indian Creek in 10th grade, and she has left an indelible mark on our school in her 3 years. We appreciate Senator Van Hollen for honoring her service to our community. Congratulations, Emma Bach. And now moving on to our Maryland Merit Scholastic Award. This award is awarded in recognition of excellence in scholastic achievement for students earning a cumulative grade point average within the top 5% of their graduating class. This award is presented on behalf of the Honorable Larry Hogan, Governor of Maryland, and Dr. Karen Salmon, State Superintendent of Schools. They extend their congratulations to the following 3 recipients: Reese Fortier, Elizabeth Foster, and Michael Mercer. Fine human beings, one and all. I'm going to take this opportunity now to send it over to Athletic Director Tyler Larkin, who will present our athletic awards.
Thanks, Matt, and welcome everyone. I'd first like to say all these athletic awards are displayed outside of our gym on plaques for everyone to see. Our award winners will also be awarded plaques at graduation. Our first award is Manager of the Year. This is in recognition for outstanding service and dedication to Indian Creek athletics. Our first award winner is Paige Clark. Paige has been a constant, solid manager for the girls lacrosse team. The coaches couldn't do it without her, and congratulations, Paige. Our next award is the Sportsmanship Award. The Sportsmanship Award is presented in recognition for outstanding sportsmanship in and out of Indian Creek athletics. This award goes to John Warner. Congratulations, John. Our next award goes to both a female and male recipient. This award is for the outstanding male athlete at Indian Creek. This award is presented in recognition of outstanding athletics during their career. Our first award winner is Sammy Carter. Congratulations, Sammy. Our next award goes to the outstanding female athlete. This award is presented in recognition of participation in and out of athletics at Indian Creek. And that award winner is Kendall Underwood. The next athletic award goes to those athletes who have earned 8 or more varsity letters throughout their career. This award, we present a blanket to these winners that will be given to them at graduation. Our first award winner is Sammy Carter. Sammy has participated in soccer for 3 years, basketball for 4, lacrosse for 4, and cross country for 1. Congratulations, Sammy. The next 8 or more varsity athlete is Sean Garrity. Sean has participated in soccer for 2 years, basketball for 2 years, lacrosse for 4, and cross country for 1. Congratulations, Sean. Our next award winner is Michael Mercer. Michael has participated in soccer for 4 years, baseball for 3, and lacrosse for 1. The next 8 or more athlete is John Warner. John has participated in baseball for 4 years and soccer for 4 years. Congratulations, John. The next 4 8 or more varsity letter athletes go to 4 of our equestrian riders. These riders brought 3 championships to Indian Creek over their last 4 years. Equestrian is a sport that goes over 3 seasons. So over the last 4 years, all of these athletes have participated in equestrian. Our first award winner is Brianna Allen. The next equestrian rider to earn this honor is Tatiana Bachara. Our next equestrian rider to win this is Simone Brown. And lastly, our last rider to win this award is Danielle Hefner. Congratulations to all those who put in many, many seasons of athletics to win that 8 or more athletic award. Our next award is presented to the Scholar Athlete of the Year. This award is in recognition of outstanding academic achievements while contributing to athletics. This too has a male and female recipient. Our first winner is the female recipient, Reese Fortier. And our male recipient for Scholar Athlete of the Year is Michael Mercer. Our last athletic award is the C. Markland Kelly Jr. Athletic Service Award. This award is made annually to each high school student or students who best demonstrate certain distinguished characteristics in the promotion of athletics during the year. Those characteristics are leadership, teamwork, sportsmanship, and scholarship. We believe that the characteristics displayed by these recipients will give them the opportunity to be leaders not only in the scholastic area, but other areas of their lives and their community. It is our hope that the recognition of these accomplishments of these young men and women will encourage them to set high standards for themselves throughout their lives so that they will use their talents for the benefits not only of their schoolmates, but the rest of society. Our first recipient of the C. Markland Kelly Award is Sonia Homek. Sean Garrity. And our female recipient of this award is Sonia Homek. Congratulations to all our award winners and good luck in your future.
Thank you, Coach Larkin. Congratulations to all the athletic recipients. And what would senior year be without some superlatives? We'll be having some brief interludes in between the award ceremonies to add in some of these superlatives. Here are the first 20 senior superlatives. We have Brianna Allen, most likely to write a paper while riding a horse. Tyler Alstead, most likely to run toward his future. Stephen Anderley, most likely to throw himself into a freezing cold water in order to catch a ball. And Victoria Auld, most likely to make Latin grades a competitive sport. Emma Bach, most likely to talk you into doing something you don't want to do, so that you will do it and do it happily. Tatiana Bachara, most likely to open her own farm. Madison Bailey, most likely to compose and produce an Indian Creek school song. Andrew Biggers, most likely to come out of nowhere on the baseball field. Miriam Disri, most likely to do whatever she sets her mind to. And Simone Brown, most likely to track down a missing wallet in a foreign land. Jordan Can, most likely to design a baseball uniform that is featured in Vogue. And Sammy Carter, most likely to continue to use Bay Bridge traffic as an excuse for being late in college. Aaron Cawley, most likely to organize Lynchburg University's monthly fire drills, and Michaela Cutler, most likely to tell you why ICS is better than any other area school. Ashley Dam, most likely to work so hard, she leaves her co-workers in the dust, and Michael DePaulis, most likely to have perfect lacrosse attendance in college. Zara Du Bois, most likely to work hard and find success, but know when it's time to pursue something new. And Reese Fortier, most likely to be the only neuroscientist who can make you an iced caramel macchiato. Elizabeth Foster, most likely to break a yardstick while imitating Mr. Roth, telling everyone that the Earth is doomed, and Liam Gallagher, most likely to make Lounging with Liam a successfully syndicated national talk show. And now we'll move on to the Performing Arts Awards. Nope, I'm sorry, the Fine Arts Awards. We'll move on to the Fine Arts Awards, and I will throw it over to Mrs. Briles. Mrs. Briles?
Good morning. I'm pleased to present 3 art awards today. The first award is for advanced painting and is presented to a student who meticulously works to create lovely detailed paintings of landscapes and waterscapes. She has consistently produced creative and reflective compositions. She has also painted one of the 4 legacy paintings that will hang permanently in the atrium for all to enjoy. Congratulations, Victoria All. Victoria will be continuing her studies at High Point. The second award is the Digital Arts Media Award for amazing video production. This student has produced humorous and action-filled videos that can be viewed on his website and on YouTube. James entertained us with a video that was projected in the auditorium during the play She Kills Monsters. He also produced another video during third quarter after collaborating on a story with Liam Gallagher. I am pleased to present the video award to James Mutzos, who will continue his video studies at Pratt in New York. Congratulations, James. The third award is the Fine Arts Award, and it is presented to a student who has contributed outstanding work in advanced painting and as president of the National Art Honor Society. Her dedication to our society's fundraising and activities has been instrumental. In addition, this student has created the memory painting for 2020, and it is a unique and colorful composition. Kendall will be attending St. Louis University. Congratulations, Kendall Underwood.
And now we'll head over to Rachel Church for the Ceramics Award.
Hi, I'm Rachel Church and I'm the ceramics and sculpture teacher. This art award is being presented to Jacob Hawthorne. Jacob is a student who focuses on planning and executing his ceramic pieces with great detail. He's a respectful, responsive, and creative student who displays leadership in the classroom. His advanced ceramic artwork made him a standout student. Jacob will continue his studies at Elon University. Congratulations, Jacob.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Ms. Briles. And now we're going to move on to the Performing Arts Awards. First up, Miss Sweaterlish for the Instrumental Music Award.
Good morning. Thank you, Matt. This year's Instrumental Award will be presented to Sean Lonergan. I've seen Sean for 3 years in Indian Creek Concert Band, and it did not take me long to see he had a very strong musical background. He played piano, drum set, all the percussion, toys, and instruments. He provided advice and coaching to his percussion classmates about technique, grips, and sound. As I discovered these learned and natural talents, I put him in charge of running percussion sectionals, helping to lead our very popular new pep band, and even asked him to play guitar for our string ensemble for a concert. So much that everybody loved him, the strings made him an honorary member and would continually write on our whiteboard for all to see, is there anything Sean can't do? But besides his instrumental contributions, Sean took on IC roles in Lost in Yonkers, She Kills Monsters, where he made a smash hit with entertaining deaths. He also was in the musical plays of Heathers, Newsies, and Brigadoon, where I would spy him running vocal rehearsals in the very early hours before school. Outside of his performing activity, Sean was also an active member of the Tri-M, where he helped with Creepy Creek and Stars. Sean has led by example to show his best and dedication to the performing arts and music here at Indian Creek. He has encouraged classmates along the way, and I hope they continue to carry this high level of work ethic, positivity, and support of others. It embodies all the best of Indian Creek. Congratulations, Sean Lonergan.
Thank you, Ms. Sweterlish. And now we will throw it over to Mrs. Woodward for the Vocal Music Award and the Spotlight Award.
Good morning. Before I begin the individual awards, I would like to just recognize a group of students who have participated in the majority of shows while they were in high school, at least 7, but in some cases more. These students will be presented at a later time with director's chairs for their work. They are Liz Foster, J.P. Riley, Jordan Hebron, Justine Krazan, Grace Walworth, and Sean Garrity. And thank you all for all of your contributions to all of our performances. First is the Performing Arts Vocal Award. One of my first memories of John Patrick Riley is when I watched him play Rooster in Annie. I was so taken with his performance, I knew he was bound for even more greatness. If you've seen JP perform, you know his voice is mature and beautiful and very much like a young Frank Sinatra. JP has another important quality to his singing. He has an innate ability to sing with great musicianship and heart. In each of his performances on the ICS stage, he brought all of those qualities, and I must say, a lovable nature to every production. JP has entertained us in so many shows. There was Kawauza and the sandwich in his pants, the brooding JD and Heathers, and you missed what would have been an incredible performance of Tommy in Brigadoon this year. My favorite, without a doubt, was his performance as Jack Kelly in Newsies. JP embodied the role and sang with a tone and heart that rivaled Jeremy Jordan on Broadway. JP, I know that wherever you go, you will bring that kind heart, charming personality, and brave character, which will bring you success in everything you do. Please continue to share your music with the world. You're one of a kind. Now's the time to seize the day. This year's Performing Arts Vocal Award goes to John Patrick Riley. The Spotlight Award is given to a student or students in this year's case who have contributed to the performing arts program in a variety of extraordinary ways. This year, 2 such students have earned, and I really mean earned, this award. The first Spotlight Award, I would like to list some of the many accomplishments of this student. 678 Musical Assistant Director, Broadway-bound drama director, Tri-M president, actress, singer, cellist, and don't forget den mother to the string ensemble and overall performing arts role model. There are very few people that I have come across in my 25 years of teaching that really understand the role of a theater director. It was evident from early on that Jordan clearly gets the push and pull nature of directing. Push the cast to move quickly through the rehearsal process while pulling the most out of every performer. She does all of that with ease and with her eye on the big picture, while also caring deeply about every cast and crew member. Jordan does it all. Design and produce 2 major events, Enchanted Forest and Creepy Creek, involving over 400 people in one day, no problem. Lead a strings rehearsal like a seasoned pro, she's got it covered. Direct and nurture a camp full of student performers in the summer, she's got it again. There's no doubt that we will see her name in lights, maybe directing the lights of Lin-Manuel Miranda one day. Thank you, Jordan, for all you have done to improve and enhance the performing arts at Indian Creek School. The Spotlight Award goes to Jordan Hebron. The next student I would like to honor with a Spotlight Award is someone who probably wouldn't have thought she would be planning a life in theater 4 years ago. In her freshman year, she began as a mere worm on stage, and she was the most memorable worm you've ever seen. From that moment on, I think she was hooked, and we knew we were in the presence of a great performer. In addition to her amazing performances, she has also been an assistant music director for shows, been a leader in Tri-M, played in band, sang in chorus, even survived music theory, and much more. Her leadership and talent have influenced so many of her peers. My favorite of all her performances was Bella in Lost in Yonkers. You can always tell when an audience has been truly moved. It's when there's a long moment of silence before the applause because they are frozen in time with the performance. At the end of her big monologue, the audience held their breath, frozen in time, amazed by her performance. Thank you, Jay, for being the ultimate musician, leader, actress, and human. The performing arts at ICS are so much better because of you, and so am I. The Spotlight Award goes to Jay Krazan and to her friends. Jay, I'm glad to be one.
Thank you, Mrs. Woodward. And now I will throw it over to me. I am going to be giving the Theater Award. And I'm sure that many of you have seen the Michael Jordan documentary, or at least heard of it, The Last Dance. And I'm not looking to start some kind of James versus Jordan argument here. But one thing that the documentary laid bare and was readily apparent to all who saw Jordan play in his prime is that he came to play, he worked incredibly hard at winning, and most importantly to me, he made everyone around him better. This next young lady did exactly that each and every day she came to walk the boards in the auditorium. From day one of her freshman year, she was a consummate professional. It's a worn-out adage that acting is reacting. Actors need to go off of what their partners on stage give them, but what Grace Walworth gave her fellow actors was pure gold. From her days of catching the football in complete works of William Shakespeare and carrying a true female lead role as a sophomore in the Heidi Chronicles, to a cane-wielding German grandma and a slayer of fire-breathing dragons, Grace's range knows no bounds. She came to play every day. She worked incredibly hard at her craft. She made everyone around her better and set the bar for the entire theater program over the years she's been at Indian Creek. She is the current Michael Jordan of ICS Theater, and she's going to do amazing things in the future. I said when she won this award the first time that you don't want to miss her on stage. Something tells me that Grace will make it impossible to do so. The 2020 Theater Award goes to Grace Walworth. Congratulations. And now to the Stage Management Award. Typically in the past, we give the Stage Manager Award, or the Overlord Award as it's known, to a graduating senior after they've served as the theater's overlord for several shows. It's more of a cumulative award. This year is a little different. This is a senior who has earned the Stage Manager Award through her dependability, hard work, and leadership. She even had a position created for her that suited her wide array of skills backstage, that of deck chief. In future productions, we will have a deck chief backstage, and hopefully they will live up to the standards of this senior. The deck chief thrives in a pressure cooker. She had to deal with nervous actors, angsty directors, broken and lost props, special effects of all kinds, fires, both literal and figurative, and all in the name of the creation of theater magic. And just to really create a picture of how incredible Elizabeth Foster is, she's quite the intellectual who crushes it academically. I'll also never forget seeing her score that lone goal in field hockey this past fall. Those who work on the technical side of theater rarely use their real names. Nicknames are everywhere. So this award is tailor-made for Lizard, Elizabeth Foster. Congratulations, Liz, on earning this year's Stage Manager Award. And now we will go over to, I think, Jill Woodward who will need to do the dance award.
Good morning again. Unfortunately, I think we lost Miss Amy through technology, so I'm going to read her speech. The Performing Arts Dance Award this year goes to a sophomore, Katie Spencer. Katie has contributed leadership and drive to achieve the best in whatever dance role she has been given. Her leadership skills were utilized by being the choreography assistant in the musicals, and she helped fellow dancers learn steps that they needed to learn or improve upon. Her leadership skills were also used with the dance club. She would know all the counts and details that came with the dances and was always there to step in and assist when needed. Katie is an amazing performer and dancer. With whatever role she has been given, she has made the character come to life not only through her facial expressions, but through her dancing. In the different genres that were used in dance club, she was a great role model to the other dancers to see how to express those emotions through the use of her face and movement. She makes the other dancers in the dance club or school musicals push themselves technically and as performers. It has been an honor for Amy and for me to work with Katie in these past 2 years to see her get showcased by using her many talents, not only in the studio, but on stage as well. We are so glad she is a sophomore, giving 2 more years to use her dance leadership. Congratulations, Katie, on receiving the Performing Arts Dance Award.
And now it's time for some more senior superlatives. First up, Sean Garrity, most likely to become a male cheerleader if the whole goalie gig doesn't work out. And Alyssa Gins, most likely to always be listening. Parker Harris, most likely to recite a monologue from behind home plate. And Jasmine Harrison, most likely to speak passionately about rescuing animals. We have Jacob Hawthorne, most likely to improve the lives of kids. Jordan Hebron, most likely to direct the Tony Awards. We have Zakora Arono, most likely to lose her passport on another continent, but keep a positive spirit. And Drew Jones, most likely to organize EA Sports Olympics. And now we will move on to the Humanities Awards, which again is me. So with the Humanities Award, this award recognizes a student who is strong in both his or her English and social studies classes. And when the upper school was founded, it was with the idea that a liberal arts and humanities focus would be the cornerstone of the academics. The student who earns this award does so by proving themselves to be a scholar, but also one with a curious mindset. He or she understands that by understanding history, the world around them, and its many cultures, they can better understand themselves and the human condition. They can then take that understanding and put it in fluid words for the rest of us to read and to ponder. They can pass their knowledge to the next generation of scholars, making each better than the last. This year's recipient, her teachers describe her as an intellectual, one who writes with razor-sharp analysis, and one who can write a brutal satire with the best of them. The winner of this year's Humanities Award is also just an incredible young woman. Her peers look to her for advice, both academically and socially. She is a mentor, she's a scholar, she's an actor of high regard. She personifies what this award is about. Congratulations, Justine Krazan. And now we will go to the Social Sciences Award and Mr. Brad Woodward.
And good morning, everyone. Hey, quiet on the set. Dim the lights. Sean enters stage right. It is I, the great mage, Steve. And just like that, the scene has been set for those of us who have been fortunate enough to teach, direct, coach, or mentor Sean Lonergan. Sean enters every classroom each day with an internalized directive. confident in what knowledge he possesses, and curious about what he wants to know next. There were countless moments in AP Gov this year when Sean and Ryan, Kendall and Jasmine were actively, seriously arguing. I mean intellectually debating the foolishness of a politician's behavior or the merits of a Supreme Court decision. It was during these types of exchanges that Sean displayed not just his strong academic reasoning or his ability to argue the finer points of a history analysis, but instead shared his commitment for the more human aspects of his passion for social studies, the direct effects of legal and political decisions on the lives of real people facing challenging circumstances. I'm confident that these fine human traits and considerably diverse talents will allow Sean to successfully pursue any lofty ambitions he sets his mind to in the future. On behalf of the Humanities Department of Indian Creek Upper School, it's my pleasure to present Sean Lonergan with the Social Sciences Award for the class of 2020, and to say, it is he, the great student Sean. Congratulations, Sean. Well done.
And now we move on to the History Award presented by Mrs. Tanya Montgomery.
Good morning. The recipient of this year's History Award finds the historical record often tests her tolerance for inequity, and she sees our continued recognition of history's most flawed heroes as problematic at best. Thomas Jefferson, he's right at the top of her list. She passionately demands that our studies recognize those flaws so that we do not repeat them. She can dissect a primary source with great acumen, teasing out the details and using them skillfully in her writing. And she is a master debater, with the cunning to lead her opponents right into the trap that she sets for them. For her achievement, her passion, and her well-honed historical thinking skills, this year's History Award is presented to Jasmine Harrison.
And moving on to the English Award presented by Ms. Becca Derry.
Hello. The recipient of this year's English Award is a gifted writer and a perceptive reader. Her comments in class and her analytical writing are thoughtful, cogent, and nuanced. Both her narrative and analytical writing have a distinctive authorial voice that is rare in high school students. As such, her writing shines the most brightly when she can write more creatively. Her narrative writing is well-crafted and evocative, but her persuasive writing also has a personality that comes through, whether it is a satire or a set of thesis-driven essays about the morality of killing bugs. Sophia's writing is infused with a dry humor and a level of playfulness while still being intellectually serious. This year's English Award goes to Sophia Wells.
Thank you, Ms. Derry. And now moving on to the Voros Senior Thesis in the Humanities. Ms. Fedorov?
Good morning. The Voros Senior Thesis in the Humanities was conceived by Chip Voros in 2011 to give select Indian Creek seniors a chance to research a topic of their choice for an entire year. During their senior year, in addition to all their other schoolwork, sports, and extracurricular activities, students in the senior thesis program spend their spare time answering an important research question with a well-defended argument, often with a suggestion for further study or action. This is no mean feat, and for this reason, we celebrate the students who participate in this prestigious program. This year, 2 talented seniors completed the challenging task of writing a 30 to 60-page paper and defending it before a panel of faculty and experts. First, we have Sean Lonergan, who, with the help of his thesis advisor, Ms. Becca Derry, turned in his thesis entitled Analyzing the Demographic Characteristics of Hispanic Immigrants, an Argument for Removing Barriers to Immigration. In his thesis, Sean argues that immigrants from Central and South America have a net positive impact on the United States economy, and he offers detailed proof in the form of economic and demographic studies. Sean defended his thesis before a panel that was comprised of Mr. McCormick, Mr. Larson, and attorney Kate Shoemaker, an ICS alum. Based on the high caliber of Sean's work, his thesis is considered completed with distinction. Congratulations, Sean. Next, we have Elizabeth Foster. With the guidance of her thesis advisor, Ms. Tanya Montgomery, Liz turned in her thesis entitled Student Activism in America and Its Effects on American Society and Politics. In her thesis, Liz explored youth-led protests of the 1960s, including the Civil Rights Movement and the Vietnam War protests. Liz compared these pioneering student protesters of the 60s to the modern-day student activists leading the March for Our Lives and Fridays for Future movements. Liz concluded that students, despite their lack of political power, have made a significant impact on American laws and society. Liz defended her thesis before a panel consisting of Mr. McCormick, Ms. Melson, and Ms. Derry. Based on the high caliber of Liz's work, her thesis is considered completed with distinction. Congratulations, Liz.
Congratulations. A lot of hard work goes into those Voros theses. I'd like to welcome back to the stage Ms. Tanya Montgomery for the Quill and Scroll Award.
Good morning again. Today, we initiate 2 members into the Quill and Scroll Society, which is the International Honorary Society for High School Journalists. Quill and Scroll chapters include students who have excelled as leaders in their high school media initiatives and whose scholarship places them among the best in their schools. Quill and Scroll first took its ideals in 1926 when it was organized by a group of high school journalism advisors and George Gallup. Its ideals have now spread to more than 14,000 chapters located in every state and 44 countries. To become a member of the society, a student must meet 5 qualifications. They must be at least a junior. They must be scholastically in the upper third of his or her class. They must have done superior work in high school journalism. They must be recommended by the journalism advisor, which at Indian Creek requires at least 2 complete years of journalism study and serving in the role of editor-in-chief through at least 1 publishing cycle. And they must be approved for membership by the Quill and Scroll executive director. The symbol of the Quill and Scroll Society is symbolic of the painstaking efforts of the scribes of old to record events in their time in permanent form. Even in today's technology-driven society, we need to accomplish that same goal. Let the quill represent in your minds the meticulous care that must be put forth to turn thoughts into language, and let the scroll represent the permanent quality of good writing. The first student who is being honored today is Emma Bach. Emma has served as a staff member for 2 years and as co-editor and a staff member and for 2 years the co-editor-in-chief. She is our planner and organizer, knowing exactly where everything is and exactly what needs to be done. I appreciate Emma's ability to just get it done, whatever it is. Emma has been responsible for the extension of our coverage of the Evergreen campus, arranging all of our classroom visits, and ensuring that upper schoolers can effectively cover their assigned pages about the lower school in an informed way. Thank you, Emma, for your service. Elon is lucky to have you. The second student who is being honored is Reese Fortier. Reese has served as the co-editor-in-chief for 2 years. She is the designer who has pushed us from traditional to modern in our design, and whose eye for space and color has forced me out of my design comfort zone more than once. She has original ideas and creates unique but cohesive designs that have moved the program forward and improved our overall coverage. Thank you, Reese. Go take Wake by storm.
And now it's time for more senior superlatives. We have Danielle Hefner, most likely to simultaneously shear a sheep and bottle feed a baby goat. And Sonia Homick, most likely to plan all missed class of 2020 activities. We have Jay Krazan, most likely to have a future as a shape-shifting character actress, and Sarah Layhoff, most likely to read the complete St. John's College curriculum prior to her first class at St. Mary's. Sean Lonergan, most likely to become a university president, and Jackson Lutz, most likely to guest host Lounging with Liam when Liam is unavailable, and then take over simply because of his great hair. We have Layla McQuiston, most likely to inspire other women to find and use their voices. Connor McClay, most likely to surprise people with his poetry recitation skills. We have Julia Mead, most likely to end up running part of Johns Hopkins Children's Center, even though she's just meant to be a volunteer. And Michael Mercer, most likely to use his quick, dry wit to keep you on your toes. Maurice Miller-Elder, most likely to wear the baseball uniform Jordan Can creates in order to make a fashion statement. And James Moutsos, most likely to be the kid everyone loves. Moving on, we'll head down the road to math land here, and we'll go to Mr. Glenn Clackring.
Good morning. This year, the math department has chosen 2 students as recipients of the Indian Creek Math Award. These 2 seniors represent 2 different but complementary types of mathematician. First, there's the warrior. She attacks problems head on. She powers through concepts by sheer force of will. To phrase it in calculus terms, she asks, what is the limit of my achievements as the number of problems I haven't solved goes to 0? Perhaps the answer is the limit does not exist. The first recipient of this year's Math Award is Ms. Reese Fortier. Please congratulate her. So then there is the artist. She muses, creates, and looks for connections. This person takes her time. She pauses often to take stock, to savor insights. The artist is no less important than the warrior. They complement each other. And so now let me compliment her. Please give your congratulations to Miss Sophia Wells.
Thank you, Mr. Clackring. And now on to science and Mr. Andrew Cawley.
Thank you, Matt, and good morning. The Science Department Award is presented annually to the student who has shown a high proficiency and interest in the sciences as determined by the science faculty. This year, we have 2 recipients, which is unusual but not unprecedented. Both of the honorees have very voracious appetites for knowledge, which is remarkably appropriate as our word science traces its origins back to the Latin to know. The first recipient has taken on multiple AP science classes, and one of those classes she opted to take as an independent study. I don't know who does that, especially when it's AP Chem. I can count the number of questions she asked me on one hand, and that was for the entire year. The first recipient is Miriam Bisery. Our second recipient has also taken on some challenging courses, including AP Physics 1 and AP Physics 2. For those of you that are unaware, AP Physics 2 is the only AP course that has an AP prerequisite. So she has really challenged herself. And apparently, from what I understand, she is the go-to person if you are having any trouble in physics, and who hasn't been there. The second recipient is Liz Foster.
Thank you, Mr. Cawley. And now we go to STEM Director Stephen Roth for the STEM Research Award.
Good morning. Congratulations to all of our award winners. Way to go. I'm here to present the 2020 STEM Award. To begin this process, I engaged our STEM faculty to nominate 2 students they feel deserves this award, and then to vote for the one that they feel should receive the award based upon a 4-year body of work within the program and a heavy emphasis on the thesis research over the last 2 years. This year's award recipients proposed a research project based on a real world issue that everyone faces, no matter where you live on this planet. And they proposed a very novel approach to solve this problem. And while they didn't produce the results they wanted, sometimes in science, that's what happens. This year's award, 2020 award, goes to Sean Lonergan. His research involved using salt marsh plants to solve soil salinization. Way to go, Sean.
Thank you, Mr. Roth. This seems like the perfect time for more senior superlatives. John Potter, most likely to be the world's biggest fan of Lounging with Liam, but never the guest host. John Patrick Riley, most likely to act his way through law school. We have Jai Richardson, most likely to be playing his Nintendo DS right now in this moment. Nathaniel Richardson, most likely to go through Creek withdrawal next year as the longest enrolled of the lifers. Tyler Shepard, most likely to use Gone Fishing as an excuse for missing an important event. Shane Spencer, most likely to stop a striker from scoring the game-winning goal, as he did on many occasions. Torrens Stattle, most likely to lead Americans' gold medal count in the 2024 EA Sports Olympics. Sam Tater, most likely to have entered beast mode during quarantine. Kendall Underwood, most likely to break her way on the U.S. national field hockey team. And Callum Walker, most likely to become #1 on the Forbes 100 nicest CEOs list. We'll now move on to a much anticipated guest starring role from one Mr. Jerry Connolly and the Latin Award.
Thank you. Good morning. Good to see everyone. Good to be seen. First, a special thanks. 11 years ago, when I came to Indian Creek, we started the Latin program. And after a few years, it was obvious that I needed help. I couldn't do that and keep doing all my other duties and responsibilities. And so a friend and colleague, Mrs. Howry, joined us. And I want to thank her for all of her help and her support in helping to build and maintain and sustain the Latin program. Thank you, Mrs. Howry. The first award, the Latin Award for Excellence. It goes to this top student in Latin 4. And Latin 4 consisted of 6 seniors. But I want to take a moment and just talk about this class. They're special and they deserve some mention. Sarah Layhoff, Jasmine Harrison, Sophia Wells, Michael Mercer. Oh, Michael, thank you for the Red Sox pennant in the background earlier in this production. Samuel Carter and Victoria Ogg. I have something for all of you. I have a special medal for all of you, commending you for all of your excellence in Latin. These 6 seniors, and sometimes the numbers tell the story. They had the highest collective GPA of any class I've taught at Indian Creek. They translated the most selections. They translated the most varied and challenging selections, from classical Latin, medieval Latin, to Renaissance Latin. And it's really, they're examples of the whole is greater than the sum of the individual parts. They showed grit. And there were a number of times during the year, not in each class, but in a surprisingly number of classes where I just kind of stood back and was sort of amazed at how they were willing to keep working through an entire period, tackling a difficult piece of translation, and how they help one another and what they accomplished together. We talk about education, what education is. We talk about scholarship. We talk about academic rigor. All one had to do was to be a fly on the wall and see and watch what they were doing on most days. It was simply impressive and a joy. I shall miss them more than they know. But there is one who is most deserving of the Latin Award for Excellence. For 2 straight years, she had an A+ average, not allowing a possibility of one misstep. She had recognition of each time she took the National Latin exam for continued excellence, showing tremendous grit, competitiveness, a joy to teach. The Latin Award for Excellence for 2020 goes to Victoria Auld. Aptly named, by the way. Optime, Victoria. The Randolph College Book Award is an honor and award that we've been able to give for several years. The generosity of Randolph College, recognizing a junior, top junior for their excellence in Latin. The book is a grammarian's delight. You may not find it on the New York Times best top 10 list for enjoyable reading at the beach, but I think this particular recipient will enjoy it. The winner has such an enthusiasm for knowledge, all knowledge, just as a thirst for knowing. She brings joy and enthusiasm to class, along with tremendous ability and capability. Very proud to award the Randolph College Book Award to Annabelle Derrick. Thank you, Optime. The 2020 National Latin Exam results. The National Latin Exam is administered to thousands of students nationally and worldwide in March. Students who perform notably on the exam receive certificates in medals, gold and silver, in the 2 highest categories, and are recognized in each level. Summa cum laude, with the highest praise, gold medal. Maxima cum laude, with the greatest praise, silver medal. Magna cum laude, with great praise, and cum laude, with praise. Additional recognition to those who miss cum laude by 1 or 2 answers, honorificae, with honor or with respect. The intro to Latin, Mrs. Howry's class. Myra Benbow, honorificae. Jason Marks, honorificae. In Latin 1, Julian Sherrod, maxima cum laude, silver medal. For Mrs. Howard's class, Aidan Alexander, magna cum laude. Matthew Hall, magna cum laude. Abigail McKinney, cum laude. Ethan Stubbs, cum laude. Gregory Butler, honorificae. For Miss Howry's class, Matthew Earl, honorificae. In Latin 2, Paige Clark, honorificae. Emma Kornmeyer, honorificae. In Latin 3, Annabelle Derrick, magna cum laude. Raleigh Souder, magna cum laude. In Latin 4, Sophia Wells, magna cum laude. Victoria Auld, cum laude. Sarah Layhoff, honorificae. Michael Mercer, honorificae. Yuga. Well done.
Yuga indeed. Thank you, Mr. Connolly. And now moving on to the Spanish award and Senora Esti Uribe. Muted. Senora Uribe, you were muted. We'll try it again. Tossing it back to Senora Uribe.
Lo siento. Language learning is a life-transforming experience. It is also a lifelong commitment. The Spanish department would like to recognize all students who took a language course this year and continue to grow in their ability to communicate in another language and learn from other cultures. Today, we also recognize one Spanish student who has demonstrated exceptional commitment inside and outside of the classroom. The student has worked exceptionally hard for many years to master the language at her level and expand her cultural competency. This year, Spanish Language and Culture Award goes to Olivia Boucher. Olivia is a junior this year, and she has just completed the AP Spanish Language and Culture course. It is not a surprise that Olivia excels in different areas. Her creativity, sensitivity, and commitment allow her to see the world from a unique perspective. Her work ethic and love for learning will continue to be the key to her success as a lifelong language learner. Congratulations to Olivia and the amazing class of 2020. Muchas gracias.
And now on to the French Award with Mrs. Chambers.
Good morning. Bonjour et bienvenue. Hello and welcome. Before I announce the recipient of this year's French Department Award, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the group of French students from which she was chosen. All of them have just completed French 4, and they're an especially talented and dedicated group of individuals. It has been a pleasure and an honor to teach every one of you. This year's French Department Award goes to someone whose hard work seems to be supplemented by a very nearly photographic memory, especially when it comes to grammar and vocabulary. She remembers grammatical concepts and applies them weeks and months after she has initially learned them. She corrects her own grammar, she sometimes fixes my grammar, and she helps her peers with theirs. In class discussions, she's always willing to take the plunge and contribute, even if she's not 100% sure of the answer. If she doesn't have the exact words for what she wants to say, she draws from that big word bank in her head and comes up with a viable workaround using words she knows. And when she speaks, she does it with a near native level of pronunciation. She writes immensely creative short stories and tells them with expression suited to the narrative. She taught herself French 2 in order to join French 3 as a freshman. If you just did the math, you will have identified Katie Spencer as the recipient of this year's French Department Award. Congratulations, Katie.
Congratulations to the World Language Award winners. And now for our final set of senior superlatives. We have Ryan Walker, most likely to visit all 7 continents through Doctors Without Borders. Grace Walworth, most likely to become the first ICS alumna to win an EGOT, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Awards. We have Lena Warner, most likely to say, "My pleasure," when receiving her diploma. John Warner, most likely to say, "I'm sorry," when he tags you out. We have Sophia Wells, most likely to write her way out, like Hamilton. And Sophia Whitney, most likely to serve an ace while acing a math test. And then we have Brian Yetter, most likely to use his Uber skills to explore a new city. I'd like to move on now to the Indian Creek School Merit Awards. Now these are voted on by the faculty. They are awarded to those students who meet the following criteria. They've demonstrated excellence in a variety of subjects. They have enthusiasm, they've shown academic growth, and they have a strong positive attitude toward learning. A strong majority of the recipient's teachers must agree that the student has demonstrated these characteristics in order to receive the award. The following students are Indian Creek School Merit Award winners. We have Emma Bach, Miriam Bisri, Zara Du Bois, Zara Du Bois, we have Reese Fortier, Elizabeth Foster, and Sean Garrity. We have Parker Harris, We have Jordan Hebron, Justine Krazan, Sarah Layhoff, Sean Lonergan, Julia Mead, Michael Mercer, John Patrick Riley, Kendall Underwood, Callum Walker, Ryan Walker, Grace Walworth, and Sophia Wells. Moving on to what is known as the Lifer Award, the Indian Creek Longevity Award. These are students who have been at Indian Creek for their entire academic lives, from kindergarten to this very moment. Congratulations to the following students: Tyler Alstead, Simone Brown, Aaron Colley, Ashley Dan, John Patrick Riley, Nathaniel Richardson, and Sophia Wells. That is nearly a wrap for this year's award shows. But first, before we have the video that will wrap up this morning, that was created by Kim Welter, thank you, Kim. It would go, we would be remiss if we didn't thank a few people. First, Tanya Montgomery and Miss Annie Engels for really working to put this whole program together. We have CVW Productions, who are your behind the scenes people on today. They've been super helpful in putting this whole thing together. All the teachers, all the presenters today, thank you so much for your time and for your efforts. Congratulations to all the award winners. And of course, especially congratulations to the class of 2020. After the video, today's presentation will be over. Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you.